The riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. Here's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me as always, co-host extraordinaire, John and Kate, to my +8, Timothy Richardson. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I am feeling cheated, Garrett. When I heard the name of this album, I kinda thought we were doing Horse with No Name.
Yeah, of course we weren't doing that. Why don't you tell the folks what we actually listened to this week?
We listened to the debut album of country duo Big and Rich, Horse of a Different Color, released May 4th, 2004.
Now, Tim, I initially had my suspicions that you were behind the decision to do this album this week, and it turns out no, but it was actually, an email?
I have an email from someone named Brady that explains why we were listening to this particular brand of awful.
All right, take it away from Brady.
He says, I'm reaching out to follow up on your Florida-Georgia Line episode. I was having myself a good laugh following along. Those tacky faux country fucks have been abusing my eardrums for over a decade. At least that's what I thought. You see, at first I was disappointed you didn't choose their album with that god-awful Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy song. Turns out that's not a Florida or a Georgia Line song, but was instead sung by some other pop country duo named Big and Rich. Motherfucker. Then I remembered that other painful Life is a Highway song, which I looked up and found is sung by neither group. The song is actually by Rascal Flatts, which completed the surprise trifecta during my dive into the dogshit country rabbit hole. I was genuinely shocked that all of this music wasn't written by the same band. And then, weirdly, 2 days into us listening to this, Louisiana Jake Gunter suggested we also listen to this trash. Seems like it was meant to be.
There you go, Gunts. Coming at you. Big and rich, just like you want it. Hot and fresh. That's a fascinating email. I love that this guy thought all of this was Florida-Georgia Line. And to be frank, Tim, that's exactly what I expected this week as well. But surprises abound. Before we get into it, I have to ask the ceremonial question at the top of the show before we break it down. Tim, do you hate this album?
Yes. It's bad country music. It's bad rap. It's bad pop. It's just, It's bad. What about you? Did you hate this?
I am fairly certain I hate it, and that will not change. I'm leaving open a crack, just a crack that I might not hate it, because when you and I start talking about these songs, they're so odd that there's a chance that they might be so strange I like this. Before this magical week, had you ever been bigged or riched?
Basically, no. I'd heard the one song.
Fair enough.
Has your John ever been billed?
In all regards, no. I didn't know what this was. I had heard there is a band named Big and Rich. Didn't know about your horses or your cowboy riding. Well, I knew about your cowboy riding, but I didn't know about the song and the cowboy riding. Okay. This was all new to me. I am a big and rich virgin. Wait.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It does not.
Put that on your tombstone.
Boy, Tim, this might be a lightning fast episode. You had the history of one song, and were you a fan of that song?
Oh, God, no, Garrett. It's terrible.
Oh, okay. And I had zero awareness of what they even were, and still am pretty confused. So let's not dwell on it. Let's get into the more important history, Tim. Tell us about the rise of Big and Rich.
Well, John Rich was planning on becoming a professional team roper. And if you need explanation for that, I have a bunch of diagrams that came with my cowboy packet. But after getting to Nashville to follow that stupid...
Nope, stop.
What?
Just stop talking. Cowboy packet?
Yes, sorry. Whenever I joined up, they gave me like an informational packet which explained some cowboy activities that I was encouraged to partake in, one of which was team roping. It's not important.
That sort of makes sense. What do you mean joined up?
Whenever I signed up for the Cowboys.
For Cowboy Academy? Can we call it Cowboy Academy?
We can call it Cowboy Academy. I like it. They don't.
I don't want to. Okay. Do they have a different name? It's just Cowboys.
Just for the Cowboys. I signed up for the Cowboys.
Are they like a union?
Oh, God, no, Garrett. It's an ancient society.
Okay. More like a stonecutter situation or Masons.
Sort of. John Rich gets to Nashville. He's attempting to pursue that stupid dream. And he joined Texas C as their bass player and sometimes lead singer that would then rename itself to Lone Star in 1992. In 98, he got either kicked out or he left willingly, depending on who you ask. Basically, his story was that he left the band as their advisors felt that having two lead singers would be confusing to fans, which can't possibly be true, because what do you mean advisors? And also, how is two singers confusing to the fans?
Nobody likes it when two members of a band sing at the same time. It sounds terrible. It's confusing. Which voice is which? One at a time is the rule for music.
John Rich then recorded a few demos and singles. He would end up self-releasing an album called Rescue Me, which was inspired by a cancer patient in 2001. So that's Rich's background. On the other side, you've got William Kenneth Alphen, or Big Kenny, as he would like you to know that he's a big man, Garrett. He is 6 feet, 5 inches tall, which should not be important given that what we are doing is an audio format, but it is clearly his defining personality trait.
Do you know how much he weighs?
No. Do you?
No, I feel like this should be part of the dossier. Gino! Yeah, guess what, buddy? Push-ups.
Would you like to assign him a weight?
I think Big is probably... Big Kenny, Special K, is probably no less than 265 pounds.
Okay, so William Kenneth Alphen, 6'5", 265 pounds, at least. Big was originally from Virginia, but he moved to Nashville and he worked for a music label, Famous Music Corporation. Big signed to Hollywood Records and he recorded the solo album Live a Little, but the record company declined to release it.
I love that they refused to release a completely finished album.
Oh, that happened to Rich as well. Don't worry.
I mean, you've already spent most of the money. Making it's the costly part. Just make some CDs.
True, but Garrett, they have their pride on the line.
It's not about the money, sir. We just don't think you're very talented.
But then Big met Rich and music history was made. They initially collaborated for a few years as sort of a songwriting team, and then these two idiots formed something called Music Mafia in 2001. Music Mafia is an acronym for Musically Artistic Friends in Alliance, so technically the full name is Musically Artistic Friends in Alliance, which is stupid. It sounds like the worst possible version of the Elephant Six Collective, Apples and Stereo, Neutral Hotel, etc.
Yeah, they seem to have found, much as I am fascinated with how people of similar attractiveness seem to find the mate that matches their level, if you will. This collective of musicians seems to have found its level when it comes to quality.
They all deserve each other, I think is what you're saying.
Yes, thank you, Tim.
M Mafia started doing Tuesday variety shows that would include musicians, spoken wordists, jugglists, fire breathists, and painters. That last one is very weird if the painter isn't Denny Dent, the Jimi Hendrix speed painting guy at Monterey Pop.
Whatever happened to him?
Jimi Hendrix?
No.
Oh. So anyway, some asshat manager suggested that Big and Rich record their own music together. Rich claimed he was apprehensive about this as he was told that he was just too rock for country music.
So does Rich have the deeper voice?
I don't know, Garrett. I don't know which one's which.
I don't either.
It's not important. After they recorded Holy Water together, he was convinced that it could work, and they were quickly signed to Warner Brothers Nashville in 2003. They write and release the Album of the Week in 2004, and that includes numerous guests. Most of them are from the M Mafia, most prominently Cowboy Troy. And then... and
Tim,
we will get into Cowboy Troy, Garrett. I have some thoughts. I have some horrible, horrible thoughts. Big and Rich go on tour opening for Tim McGraw. That same year, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy was used as the theme music for the World Series of Poker on ESPN. They also release a remix EP DVD, as all country musicians do, called Big and Rich's Super Galactic Fun Pack that included a dance remix of Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. It's worth a single listen. Super awesome Snopple branded Cowboy Troy Fun Fact, SASBCTFF number 306. As a graduate of Gary and my alma mater, the University of Texas, Cowboy released a promotional single called Hook 'em Horns after UT won the 2006 national championship game. It would not do well.
I'm surprised the university didn't sue him.
They really should have. In 2005, Coming to Your City, their second album, was released, and the eponymous single for that was used as ESPN's College Game Day theme.
Oh, so I've definitely heard that.
Yeah. In 2005 and 2006, both Big and Rich released solo albums that the studio had previously refused to release, but after their success as a duo, a conceited 2007, they record a cover of John Lennon's Nobody Told Me.
What?
Yep. 2008, they record a cover of You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Party, and then they take a hiatus while Big recovers from a neck injury from a car accident in 2001.
He was recovering from a car accident 7 years prior?
Yeah, it's a weird timeline that seems like a lie. And again, I'm not saying this. We're not saying this. People are saying this. It sounds like a rehab cover.
And we're not saying that, Tim.
No.
You and I have not ever said that.
In fact, I am saying the exact opposite. It is exactly what he said it was. He was recovering from a car accident from 7 years prior that had not bothered him until that point. However, people are saying that he was in rehab and that was a lie.
We're not here to give you our opinions. This is about fact. And it's a fact that people have said it.
That's right. In 2008, Rich recorded a song called Raisin McCain in support of John McCain's presidential bid. Although he originally supported Fred Thompson, but he did perform at the closing ceremony of the Republican National Convention.
He ran for president. That's right. He's that judge from Law and Order. He's in Die Hard, I think.
Die Hard 2, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that sounds more right. Fred Thompson. I'm running for president. God damn, that's fucking hilarious.
SAS BCTFF number 411, Cowboy Troy also performed at the Republican National Convention to support John McCain, and he really likes to describe himself publicly as a quote-unquote black conservative.
I assume he's black.
He is, yes.
You know that I don't personally see. It'd be weird.
Yeah, it would. 2009, Big becomes a judge on Can You Duet, and Rich released a solo album called Son of a Preacher Man.
Can You Duet? Now, you said that as though we should all know what the fuck that is.
Have you not heard about Can You Duet?
What do you think?
I mean, I'm assuming based on your tone and your angry look that you haven't. Mm-hmm. But Garrett, I can promise you before we record the next episode, you will be intimately familiar with Can You Duet.
I'd rather you just briefly explain it and I don't ever watch it.
It's American Idol, but about duets.
That sounds horrible.
It is. Big then releases a solo album entitled, and I love this, Big Kenny's Love Everybody Traveling Musical Medicine Show Mixtape Volume 1. There would be no Volume 2.
There never is.
Then Big and Rich reunite in 2011 to do a song for the super underrated remake of Footloose.
That's exactly where they belong, in the remake of Footloose. How dare you, America?
Then in 2012, they released an album called Hillbilly Jedi. They left Warner Brothers Records in 2014. They recorded an album and Warner Brothers didn't want to release it. And they said, at least let us wait a year. And they said, fuck you guys. And so they released it on their own.
For the second time in both their lives, a studio said, no, that's cool.
In 2015, they appear on episode 6 of season 19 of The Bachelor, in an episode in which Megan, Carly, Britt, Whitney, Jade, and Caitlin met Mr. Big and Rich to write love songs to sing to Chris on a group date. And then Chris gave Britt the group date rose on the stage at the Big and Rich show, and it was super romantic, Garrett. Notably, Britt also got the first impression rose in episode 1, but she ended up leaving before the rose ceremony 2 episodes later. It broke my heart.
This is a moment where I regret that we don't have a video element to this podcast, because for the last, 2 minutes straight, Tim, you have not read a single note. That was a memory from your life.
Big and Rich would perform at the pre-inaugural ceremony in 2017 after Trump's victory in the election, along with Tobin's Keith. Notably, Troy Brooks refused to perform at that.
Well, it's official. I'm not coming to that inauguration. Did these assholes do anything else?
They released another album, but who gives a shit?
Let's get into some general thoughts. What the fuck is this?
I don't know, Garrett. I don't know.
It's beguiling.
I want to be clear, I hate this music. However, it interests me how they got here. First of all, it seems like every one of the choices made on this album is designed to piss me off. You got country rock, country rap, country flute, Cowboy Troy, auto-tune, Little People, and the rest of it.
I'm sorry. What? What's wrong with Little People?
Oh, I don't like the way they're used on here.
Oh, okay.
I got at least one weird look at the grocery store because I just walk around all day listening to these garbage albums on my headphones. Mm-hmm. At one point, I legitimately just started laughing out loud. I mean, I guess it was at least entertaining.
At times. It's not consistently bizarre. This is no Tim Antwoord.
But this raises a deeper question, Garrett.
What's that?
Do I not like cowboys?
A small amount of background for those of you who are listening for the very first time. And if you are, thank you. And what's wrong with you? If it's your first time, Tim is currently attending Cowboy Academy, though they don't call it that. He is a cowboy in training, and you're up to boots, belt, and jeans, but no buckle, right?
That's right. Yep.
So you still have buckle, pearl snap shirt, bandana, hat. Is that it?
Yes, I think that's it.
Okay, and you're hoping in the next decade to somehow get there. That seems way too long. I see children that are clearly cowboys.
No, they're not. They're dressed like cowboys, but they are not cowboys. And that's really kind of the issue, Garrett, because I want to like cowboys.
I would argue you like cowboys a lot.
Well, I do, but this album makes me question it. And I think that maybe it's the modern representation of them that is just a bastardization. A lot of today's cowboys, and by today I of course mean 2004, are lame and or terrible. And this week, honestly, it had me questioning, did I choose the wrong team? I thought, should I have joined the Ancient Order of Samurai instead of Cowboys? They were having a membership drive whenever I was looking for somebody to pledge my loyalty to. Samurai made a strong push, Garrett. ISIS seemed to want me too, but, obviously I'm not going to do that.
They want everyone. Don't feel special.
Oh, all right. Well, but Samurai really wanted me. But
wow.
Cowboy felt more like me, Cowboy Tim.
I mean, plus you've got all those videos with those cowboys in them.
That's true. Yeah, in my heart, I've been pledging Cowboy since I was a child. I think Cowboy is for me. I think it is Big and Rich that are wrong.
Okay, so that's a great transition. I'm going to ignore all that crazy bullshit you just said, because if I don't, we're going to be here all day. Let's just assume that for some odd reason, everybody has to, or at least you, have to pledge your loyalty to some group, and you were super close to Samurai, was it?
Yes.
Okay, glad you didn't go Ninja.
Well, no, Garrett. They are like the dark shadow of Samurai.
I mean, if we're going to get into it, if I'm picking anything, I'm going Ninja.
Yeah, that's because you have no honor.
God almighty! No honor.
The samurai have honor. Cowboys have honor. Ninjas, no. They can stab you in the back. That's not how you fight. You square off on a street or you draw samurai swords. Give everyone a fair chance.
No way. I'm looking to win, not fight.
Right, because you have no honor. Anyway, let's move on. You seem to have a point.
You're right. I thought I did. So that brings us to the most important question. Are they cowboys?
I don't think so.
Tim, I wanted to fight you on this purely just to make it difficult, but I tend to agree. I don't think they're cowboys, and I think that you can sleep easy tonight in your cowboy pajamas, having cowboy dreams, as you have detailed in many episodes, knowing that you have dedicated your life in ways that don't even seem remotely necessary to the right thing. These guys are not cowboys. These guys are not country singers.
No, they want to stress that they're tolerant of other people. They want to make sure that everyone knows they're inclusive, but they seem caught up on that enough that it seems suspicious. It's one of those, you're protesting too much, right?
Yes, indeed. They go above and beyond, out of their way to make sure in the middle of songs where it doesn't seem remotely relevant, hey, guess what? We are not racist. Okay.
Yeah.
I tend to think they're not cowboys, and I'm going to put them to a cowboy test, Tim. Unfortunately, and I hate when this is the case, you're the authority on the subject. Not of the show, not of me, barely of Gino.
Oh, I am definitely in charge of Gino.
We'll see. He's been doing a lot of push-ups, and I've been teaching him to slap.
Oh, God damn it. Is that why Gino slapped me today? Did you give him permission to slap me?
I didn't tell him to do anything. I merely gave him the tools to fish. If he chose to go out and catch a few, so be it. We alluded to it. Let's get specific. Some of these songs are very much country music songs with ridiculous lyrics, but country music songs nonetheless. Agree?
Yes.
A lot of these songs are not.
Also agree.
I would say there are the same number of country music songs on this album as there are on the Chris Gaines album. And what I was expecting, Tim, Florida Georgia Line.
Yes, I was too. Some of this seems Kid Rock influenced, with like the family safe version of Kid Rock. And that goes right down to having a little person on stage with them. That raises a fundamental question I have with this entire album. Why are they so obsessed with height? There's at least 3 songs on here that are in some way based around being tall. One of them has named himself Big Kenny. They really seem to be obsessed with size. I mean, it goes down to getting getting a little person to be on stage with them so they
can seem
taller.
even bigger?
Right.
This runs the gamut of country rock, country rap, country flute. It's bad. There is superb musicianship on here.
Yes, the band is never good together. There are good individual performances on multiple songs.
I suspect no two instruments were played at the same time in the making of this album.
That makes total sense.
But like we've said, there's really great banjo, really great slide guitar, some crazy big guitar solos.
I think that this album really supports your theory that hair metal divided up into like the kind of people that were willing to do the grunge thing and then country music.
The songs, Tim, range from teen pop to borderline dance, spoken word at times. It's not rap, it's just a guy talking.
Well, there is rap. Don't say there's not rap.
I think this is the most Christian album we have ever done. I believe there's not a single offensive word or sentiment in the entire album.
Most Christians would consider the word ass to be offensive.
Not most.
Well,
the most extreme Christians. Yeah. Which I assume is 50% of the big and rich crowd. The word ass is in there?
Yeah, there's a song called Kick My Ass.
Oh, yeah, there is. Wow, I'm just completely immune to language.
Visually, the cover looks like the background and font of an Insane Clown Posse album, right? I would never look at that album and think country music lives in there.
I mean, it barely does, Tim. If the ghost of country music lives in there. No, it looks like the cover of a, Sublime 311.
Oh, 311's a good pick. Did you look at pictures of these guys?
Not really.
It kind of reminds me of pictures of us standing next to each other. Rich looks relatively like shaven, well put together. And then you've got Big. He looks like some sort of demonic carny. He's the Garrett of the group.
I don't love that. He's so much older.
That's right. He's the Garrett of the group.
Oh, okay. Now I see where this joke is going. He's clearly 25 years older than Rich.
Yeah, wow. Slightly taller.
Did you see the photos of him with the top hat?
That's the one that made me think demonic carny.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I see it. He's also got a denim vest. Also,
Right.
Earlier when I was going through your Cowboy Academy graduation ceremonies, I did skip chaps. I'm going to tell your cowboy counselor about that. I hope you get demoted.
Oh, God damn it, Garrett. I can't lose the belt.
Those jeans do not fit. Tell me this. Are you allowed to fasten the belt with like string or anything?
No. It's a strictly useless belt until I get that buckle. By the way, somebody sent us a picture of them shirtless, shivering, and wearing boots, jeans, a belt, and a buckle.
It's so funny. Whoever you are, you're hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sent us a photo, and he seems to be in the same course you are. I thought you were just a crazy person being taken advantage of by what seemed to be like a Southwestern-oriented cult, and I was just going to let it go until it came to Kool-Aid Day, but goddamn, Tim, there's others like you. And
yeah, it's
he
a
seems
real
to speak
thing.
the lingo.
And it's kind of a little annoying because he cut off his face, so I might know him. He might be at the meetings.
The meetings.
Well, yeah.
Cowboy meetings. All right,
We
Tim,
have
we got to get into
we have
these
cowboy
songs.
practice, and then we have business meetings.
Wait, business meetings.
Yeah.
To talk cowboy business.
That's right.
Well, you as a cowboy trainee are allowed to sit in on the business meetings?
Yeah, I'm not a voting member, clearly, but I'm allowed to observe.
Okay, well, that makes more sense. What is the business of cowboys?
Oh, they're into all sorts of things, Garrett. Garrett, you start off with cattle. That's obviously a big one. They tend to run a lot of. They take these small planes, and I haven't really figured out exactly what this is about yet.
This now?
There's a bunch of small planes that they fly in from Mexico to Texas, and I don't know exactly how that makes money, but it seems to be a very popular trade among cowboys.
Okay, I don't know much about cowboying. I'm going to give you some outside observer advice. You do with it whatever you want. Do not inquire about the airplanes.
Oh, but I'm so curious.
I know. It's going to eat at you, buddy. But you really are going to want to not know about the airplanes.
I think I want to participate in the airplanes. It seems
It's
fun.
your clear friend. Again, you do what you want. I'm not here to tell you how to become a cowboy. That's somebody else's job. Do you pay them, Tim?
Well, there's dues, of course.
I was really hoping you were going to say you have a scholarship. You show a lot of promise in roping. I have natural roping wrists.
Yeah, I'm naturally bow-legged, so I fit on a horse well. I mean, I am still terrified of horses and won't go near them, but whenever I get over
spotted.
that...
I remember, Tim. Now, you had to remind me, and I was dubious, still am, of your Cowboy Academy and what's going on there. Assuming that it's even remotely true, I do recall being outside that Orange Julius when that scout approached you and asked if you had ever considered a life of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I still don't fully understand it. I thought he was clearly hitting on you, and you didn't understand fully, or did, and I wasn't going to say anything. Here you are 4 years later.
Speaking of...
8 to go.
No, I still have 12 to go.
Oh, it's a 12-year plan from now. My God. Okay, can we get into these songs?
Track number 1, Rollin', The Ballad of Big and Rich, featuring Cowboy Troy.
The simple music that we make, oh, 'cause if it moves my soul, I'm gonna
This is a cult, right? I mean, this starts off with an announcement for some sort of semi-country music cult with brothers and sisters. We are here for one reason, and one reason alone. To share our love of music, I present to you country music without prejudice. Hey.
Well, sure, they're opening the album, letting you know they are not racists.
So this is the first of approximately 1,500 times they will imply or in some ways...
Overtly say.
Yeah, that they are not racist, they're very tolerant, but they're still countrymen.
TBD. I mean, first of all, are they cowboys? Maybe. Are they countrymen?
No.
We'll see.
If they're cowboys, as soon as I make the executive council, and that is 18 years from now, but as soon as I do that, I will immediately put a motion forward to get them expelled, because this is horseshit.
Executive council is disturbing. Back to the music, though. The music, not the words or the song itself, really good.
I wouldn't go that far. That is a wild accusation to throw at this band.
It's not good, Tim. There are instruments on this song that are played well.
Agree.
All right,
I completely
back
agree.
to shitting on this.
The lyrics, I ain't gonna shut my mouth. Don't mind if I stand out in a crowd. Well, I know there's got to be a few 100 million more like me, just trying to keep it free. Who is he talking about, Garrett?
America.
See, I don't think so.
America.
The only possible way that makes sense. He wants to stand out in a crowd. There's hundreds of millions more people like him. The only way that makes sense is if this is a song about him being L or G or B or T or Q.
Or some combination of them.
Sure, of course, we're inclusive of them as well. But that's the only way that this makes sense.
It does have a bit of a flavor of say it loud and say it proud. And I'm not going to dispute that because there's many songs to come, Tim, where I can't help but feel like these two men are serenading one another. It's untraditional to sing at each other or to do a romantic duet with the two lead singers, unless, they're dating, which again, great.
This is the song. It has this super ridiculous radio edit, and I don't know why.
It's a giant pause. Everything stops. Music stops. Even today, Tim, I checked my fucking phone. What's happened? Oh, right. It skipped over son of a bitch.
Yes.
I do not think there exists a version where son of a bitch is said.
Agreed.
And I don't know why, because as you pointed out, they say ass. I thought that it at least made sense because you could play this for toddlers. It's so inoffensive in every regard. But they do say ass. Now, Tim,
that could be a t-shirt, but they do say ass.
Ass is in the Bible.
Well, sure, Garrett.
If you
but
can,
you shouldn't let a child read the Bible.
Oh, I think they force children to read the Bible.
But you shouldn't. It's violent. It's upsetting. The end gets a little surreal, but also horrifying.
Remind me later to update the list of things that should not have happened to me as a child.
I mean, I'm going to attempt to avoid that because I don't want to hear the new one.
Sometimes when Tim can't sleep, I read him the list of things that should not have happened to me as a child until he is sleepy.
Until I pretend to sleep.
Tim, tonight, 121 through 193.
Should we talk about the rap verse by Cowboy Troy?
Nobody, Tim. Nobody is ready for Cowboy Troy. I certainly wasn't. I did not read that this was featuring Cowboy Troy. I like to kind of just listen, go in blind, and then when I think the song is pretty much over, or hope it is, in walks Cowboy Troy to fuck my world up.
It was unexpected to say the very least.
When a black cowboy comes rapping into your song and comes in fire hot with dumb diggity dumb diggity diggity dumb dig this, you better sit up and pay attention because you might be about to be attacked.
I mean, would you like to go on? Because the rest of it is just as weird.
He's slicker than the grease from a barbecue brisket, got more chunk than a fresh potato salad. It goes on and on and on. There's a great deal of Spanish. I didn't bother to transcribe or translate it. Did you?
No, who gives a shit? But he does also reference that he is 6'4".
Cowboy Troy is conservative. He's black.
He's a black conservative.
And he will rap in multiple languages in songs you never expected him to appear in. He might be in your closet right now.
Should we check the closets?
No, I don't want to wake him.
So he is there.
Who knows, Tim? Who knows?
You seem very confident that I would be waking somebody up. Oh my God. Did you hire Cowboy Troy to... Oh my God. Okay, so... I will predict what happens to me whenever I sleep. I put on my cowboy pajamas. I get in my cowboy bed.
Well, it's really just a futon that you have crudely drawn cowboys on.
Yeah, well, okay,
also, there's those cowboy magazines under it, but I don't think that's part of the motif. In fact, I would ask you to tuck those further under.
The point is, whenever I doze off tonight, dreaming of the range, if you will.
And you should sleep so soundly. Yeah, really go to sleep deep.
Okay. I'm going to be woken up by Cowboy Troy shouting, "Get up on your feet and put your body in motion," because back home we love to dance. We could be two-stepping or raving to trance. He's an abomination, Garrett.
He is not a positive contribution to society. It's tough because I kind of love Cowboy Troy. So much so that I would probably give him way more money than he gets for a typical corporate gig just to wait in a closet for hours on end till a good friend falls asleep and then scare the ever-loving shit out of him while you record it for a podcast. Or maybe we never ask him to get out and just see how long that asshole stays in the closet.
See how long he can survive without food and water?
We know, Tim, we know the answer. It's 3 days. It's not that exciting. Not as exciting as what happens next in this song. Yeah. Go cowboy, go cowboy, go. Go cowboy, go cowboy, go. What? This song rips off Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze, my favorite, unlike Tim, whose favorite is Ninja Turtles 3, where they go back to feudal Japan.
Again, I love samurais. It was a close second choice.
Boy, this is starting to add up. Is that what originally got you into the samurai lifestyle?
No. It's just a happy coincidence. Go cowboy, go cowboy, go. I'm going to adopt that. Maybe they chant it at the final ceremony.
Is there any feats of strength or challenge at the final ceremony to become a full-fledged cowboy?
I don't know. That is for the executive council only.
Wow, this is sounding less and less like a real thing. I mean, a real thing. I think these things are happening, but I do not think it is for the reasons they are telling you.
I have an SAS BCTFF number 66, Cowboy Troy's.
That's not a thing, Tim.
It is.
Your Snopple facts are bullshit. I had real fun facts. You stole my bit, and now you've turned it into this horrible mutation of bullshit.
SAS BCTFF number 66, Cowboy Troy's 2017 single Pork Chop was used as the theme for the National Pork Board's Porktober promotion.
I don't know what any of those things you said are.
He wrote a song called Pork Chop. And you know how there's a National Pork Board, they have gangland fights with the milk councils, the beef people.
I think the cotton people are part of that too.
Sure. They're in the agricultural clique, but yeah. But anyway, so...
I've seen commercials for chemistry. Is that one of these
That's
groups?
not true. That's not true. Anyway, so the National Pork Board designated the month of October as Porktober, where we celebrated pork, and you apparently did not. You missed out.
Did you?
Garrett, I celebrate pork every month.
Well, yeah, I do too, probably in an above average way. So in a way, Tim, I'm better than everyone.
Absolutely. Track number 2, Wild West Show.
Why don't you meet me back at the teepee? We'll lay down.
Here's an uppercut to the old testes. What'd he say? Nobody saw this one coming.
Nobody sees any of this coming. I will give you this. They keep you guessing.
Absolutely. We opened with a moving electric piano with what I thought originally was a wooden flute or recorder, but have now learned that it is a more traditional flute.
Yes. And then it kind of turns into what sounds like an electric version of Troil's The Thunder Rolls.
Yes, it does.
What is this song about?
I'm so happy you asked me.
Oh, God damn it.
First of all, it's important for everyone to know that this was the first single. It's called Wild West Show, and the entire song has a style, tribute, mockery, and theme based around Native Americans, and for our Canadian listeners, First Nations people. Isn't that what they call them? First Nation?
I think so. Indigenous people.
And I think I understand what's going on. So a few lyrics to help everybody in case you've never heard this song, and if you haven't, good for you. The song lyrics go, "Why don't you meet me back at the teepee? We'll lay down by the campfire. There in the night, we'll smoke the peace pipe. Forget about who's wrong or who's right." Very clear Native American imagery.
Absolutely.
Now, what's happening is that a gentleman and what I originally thought was a girlfriend, I'm going to get back to that in a minute, are having a bit of a fight. They're getting all caught up in their own egos. He is saying, please return back to the house. We'll relax. They'll have some sort of peace pipe. I'm assuming that's a metaphor, or they're just going to get real high, and they're not going to argue about who's wrong or who is right. They're just going to move forward. He's worried that they're going to go the way of the buffalo. Everything this gentleman is saying is all couched in Native American metaphor. Everything. And that brings me to my next point, Tim. I think I understand why she wants to leave him.
I get it, yeah.
Could we be dealing with a situation where he is just, or more importantly, she has just had enough with the Native American stuff? Okay, Phil, you're from Wisconsin. Your parents came here from Norway. You could not look less like a Cherokee. I suspect they've had conversations that begin with, I thought we agreed you wouldn't wear your feathers at the dinner table.
Maybe he's not a Native American, but perhaps he has joined some sort of club.
Oh boy.
Maybe
is he a Native American in training?
Could be.
I doubt it.
I know that cowboys have a natural enemy in the samurai, but I don't know about the Native Americans. It would stand to reason, but they're never brought up.
You're telling me that the cowboy is the natural enemy of the samurai?
Yes.
The group you almost joined?
Yes.
And now you vow to be mortal enemies with? I don't think that's accurate.
I don't think you watched The Last Samurai starring Tom Cruise.
He wasn't a cowboy.
He was like a Civil War guy. Yeah, they were mostly cowboys, Garrett. Read your goddamn history book.
Yikes. Back to this. They really hit the hey-yas. Are the hey-yas a tribute or a mockery?
I think they mean them as a tribute in the same way that your Wisconsin fellow means it as a tribute, but it is in fact insulting. It's the same whenever you wear jeans and boots. You mean it as a tribute, an honor to the Cowboys, but the Cowboys, they are not amused and they are offended by it.
It is not in any way an affront to Cowboys.
They take it as such, though.
Maybe
because you have not participated in the rituals.
The group that call themselves Cowboys with whom you associate believe those things. I do not know that you necessarily are joining the global community of Cowboys, mostly because I do not think they are a unified organization.
Well, by their very nature, they're loners, but...
Okay, stop. No. So, Tim, back to the song. It's hard at times, while listening to this song, to not picture these two are singing this song to each other, because one of them kind of takes on the role of the other person having this fight in the couple that's going back and forth, and that would then make this metaphor far more obvious than I initially thought. I'm feeling like Tonto, riding a pinto, trying to chase the Lone Ranger down. So, Big and Rich are having a fight, and I assume Rich is trying to chase down Big K, but he takes big steps. Probably hard to get him back. The whole point of the song is that the man singing most of the time to the other man, as we've learned, is referring to their fight as a Wild West show. Like it was a real knockdown, drag out sort of an affair, and he doesn't want to have another one of those. He just wants to move on. And I do think there's a Native American chanting in the background, or someone impersonating a Native American. I don't know what's worse.
Almost certainly the second thing. Track number 3, Big Time. This is sort of an insincere song about how they are men of the people.
I didn't picture the two of them at all during this. I got fixated on the lyrics and the style of music. I think Mr. Buffett has a lawsuit on his hands. It has a very Margaritaville feel, only it's Captain and Cokes and barroom jokes. And there's always a stage and a beautiful babe to squeeze my lime.
That's 100% accurate. My hair might be a little too long for your taste, my friend. My car may cost a little less than that suit you're wearing. He's playing for tips. He's sort of the bar bum or whatever.
When I look at those lyrics, Tim, and I'm going to hit on a couple more that you just touched on, I couldn't help I don't know why I go here. It almost sounds like a male prostitute propositioning a traveler.
Okay, let me read to you exactly what I've written. I like to think they are looking for some sort of sugar daddy patron thing. It seems to be about flirting with men in bars for money, at the very least. The singer, Garrett, is a whore.
Yeah, Tim. Okay, let's get into it.
He's at least flirting with dudes to trick them out of their money.
Something like that. He sings, "I'm glad you stumbled in here on your business trip. Well, I bet your wife is beautiful, and you're a really big so-and-so." He's clearly buttering it up, saying, "Yeah, no, I'm sure your wife's very pretty," because the guy's nervous. He's about to get himself a gay male prostitute. And so he's like, "I have a very pretty wife at home. I'm kind of a big deal at work." "Oh, yeah, no, I'm sure you are a real big deal. Very pretty wife. Come on in." Yeah. That's how they get you. The wily gay male prostitute.
Because I've got friends like you to buy me drinks, have boats and planes that I can use.
So that's his whole hook. You may look down on me. I'm just a filthy prostitute turning tricks in a motel behind a bar for traveling salesmen. But it's probably not traveling salesmen. It's probably more like wealthy businessmen making deals. And maybe he posts
mostly
up.
Japanese.
Of course. Not only is he doing unspeakable acts for money, he's building a network, Tim. He is making a connection to wealthy people with influence and possessions that he doesn't need to bother owning. You may think of him as just, again, a lonely, disgusting whore. But in reality, he's got everything he needs. He's living the life he wants. He's self-employed, makes his own schedule. Granted, the only time he has zero control whatsoever over the things he does and says are when he's being purchased for his time, but that's the gig. He never worries much. He doesn't need stuff because he's got these friends. They buy him drinks and boats and planes. It's a good deal.
It sounds like a great deal.
There is a chance, everything we just said, except he's gotten a little bit older and he's had a moment to reflect and he's realized that he has no friends, really. Now that he's getting a little bit older, the suck and fuck game's starting to dry up. Those boats and planes and drinks, they're not flowing like they used to. I think there's a chance that this is a call for help and we're mistaking the most extreme sarcasm ever for boasting. He sings, "I'm having the time of my life. No worries on my mind. Everything is just fine. Today's even better than yesterday. Everything's going my way. I'm living in the big time." Keep in mind, Tim, he's 45, 46. He's got, let's be honest, a little bit of a meth problem.
Yeah.
Hair's starting to thin. Years of putting highlights in there to stay young is all but destroyed his scalp. That anus is, let's just say it's not prolapsed, okay? You can't be a professional male whore for 20 to 30 years and not expect a little wear and tear down south. After fulfilling the every need of these wealthy men, he looks back on a life unfulfilled and empty and realizes he truly has nothing and he needs help, Tim. He's not living in the big time.
Your song is way better than their song. Their song, as you said,
stupid.
It's a ripoff of Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, it's borderline Pina Colada Berg.
Track number 4, Kick My Ass, featuring Cowboy Troy. This song sounds in direct contrast to the previous one. Here, they are the rich guys throwing their money around and acting magnanimous while they're kind of just being dicks to everyone.
The last one may have only been about one of them. I suspect it was about somebody they knew. Perhaps, they're not doing badly. Maybe it's a gentleman they met in a bar one day.
Somebody that they used?
Well, they paid him for his time. He didn't use... Well, certainly he used him. There was no emotional connection. It was strictly a business exchange. Yeah, used is the right word. In this case, we're talking about big and rich, Tim. These guys are big time in it, always. And they're so confused why everybody finds it so offensive.
But it is obnoxious.
This is their why don't we get drunk and screw.
Yes. Well, I walked up to the bar, I laid down my platinum card, then I ordered 50 long necks for my new friends. Before we chugged them down, I held mine up and said, "Here's to us." I hate them, Garrett.
Well, it's odd. In the lyrics you read, they come in, they start big time in it, sort of, and then they seem angry as to why everybody's pissed off.
Yes. Again, this is the second song where they repeatedly reference people's heights. It's weird. He says, "Well, this blonde slid up to me, said that was awful sweet. Then I saw her boyfriend as wide as he was tall. Well, he broke up our hug with a 6'5" shove." They want to illustrate that the man that is exactly as tall as Big Kenny,
maybe it's the meaning of big and rich. Maybe it was Big K.
Maybe if everyone wants to kick your ass, it's because you're an asshole.
Right.
The chorus of this, why does everybody want to kick my ass? I'm just trying to have a little fun for the ones who can't. And just because I kiss the prettiest girls and drive my truck too fast, why does everyone want to kick my ass? They seem to believe in the transitive property of partying. They're trying to have a little fun for the ones who can't. They are partying for people who cannot party.
Who can't party?
You know, whenever your mom tells you, you have to clean your plate, you have to eat all your food because there are starving people in China. Right. Well, the starving people in China, they can't party either. They don't have money for food. They certainly don't have money for partying. Big and rich, Garrett, are partying for those poor Chinese folks.
Homeless people party.
Oh, they party so hard, Garrett. I don't know if you've ever allowed a homeless man into one of your parties. He parties hard. He parties.
I once had a party slowly emerge from the bed of a truck for a whole group of homeless men and hand out beers in a Speedo. That's
sorry.
how I party too.
What?
Austin has quite a homeless problem, and I don't know exactly how this all transpired, and this allegedly happened. I can't confirm or deny it. I'm not even saying it. People are saying this happened in my past. Me and a good group of friends found ourselves with a few tall boys, and another friend of mine had taken to party boying people unsuspectingly. Like, say, a Cowboy Troy would hide in a closet, wait till you turned off the lights to go to bed, and then he would emerge wearing a provocative outfit and begin thrusting upon you as music played. It was very funny. Don't know why he enjoyed it, but point being, he decided that we would play What Is Love by hateWay, the Night at the Roxbury song, in case you're not following. We would pull up to anyone, and it turns out one of the groups was a group of homeless men, and we would roll down the windows, begin playing the song, and as the music got louder, my friend would begin gyrating up out of the bed of my truck, holding tall boys and wearing a bright red Speedo. And he would dance out of the truck, hand out the tall boys, and then slowly back away and dance his way back into the truck. And as he lowered down, I'd lower the music, roll up the windows, and drive off. And we did this for like 2 hours.
But those homeless men, they were into the party.
They were super into the party. They loved the party. Korean exchange student hated that party. He was doing his laundry in his apartment complex laundry room and freaked out, like way overreaction.
Yeah, and it's a real big and rich move, Garrett, because they are very inclusive.
That's true. They don't really see color. This song continues on in several different scenarios where big and or rich do some petty thing that you would definitely be angry about if they did it too near or around you, and then they wonder why everyone fucking hates them.
And then, Garrett, there's an outro, and this outro is 2 minutes long.
Cowboy Troy comes on, and he starts playing with a voice modulator and a synthesizer, and says some random shit that means nothing. Then it just goes away, and there's no reason for it. There's some more Spanish rapping. Don't know if you remember that.
I do. He says, "Senorita, pleased to meet you. Would you like some pizza or margarita?"
That is the level of quality we're talking about. There's just no point to it.
He says, "Boys play me a love song, bedroom music." And I thought to myself, there's no better description for Shaggy than bedroom music.
Bedroom music. I would like to fully, wholeheartedly, and completely adopt the phrase bedroom music.
Absolutely.
For this show and my personal life.
We also get a daddy reference at the end.
I didn't catch it. I was really confused how there was no daddy in this song.
He jumped out the window with a guitar in his hand, said, "Shoot me, daddy, I'm Superman."
Oh, right. I don't count this as anything.
But while we're on here, SASBCTFF number 9, Cowboy Troy is featured on 2 songs on the most recent Vanilla Ice record, Wisdom, Tenacity, and Focus, or WTF for short, alongside Violent J of ICP.
It's the greatest hits of our show.
Cowboy Troy is everywhere. Track number 5, 6 Foot Town.
Staring, looking funny at me when I step to the window and I talk.
This tries for traditional country, right? Kinda.
I thought it sounded, at least in the opening, like a Sheryl Crow song or a Wallflowers song.
Many, many more height references in this song, obviously.
It's about a tall man in a tiny town.
Yeah.
Coming this fall. He's 10 feet tall. The entire town is 6 feet. And between those 4 feet is a mile.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a big fish in a little pond kind of metaphor that they're taking like really, really literally. It sounded kind of like a dating app where people are just 6'5", man. He's 6'5".
A dating app for people that the most important thing is that you are a certain height?
Yeah, which I think is dating apps.
Yeah, that's probably true. What is your minimum height, Tim? Do you have a minimum height?
For a lady?
For a long-term sexual partner?
No.
Wow.
I mean,
they could be 1 foot 18 inches. 1 foot
1 foot
3.
18 inches, by the way, is 2'6". You stupid
That's how you
idiot.
say it. That's how you say it.
So
You say it like a fool. Don't address it. Keep going. I think this sounds like a Wallflower song or a Matchbox 20 song.
There's a lot of like God stuff in this. Sometimes I stumble because of my size, but hey y'all, that's alright. That's the way God made me. I am what I am, and I can't do nothing about that.
I already suspect that Big and Rich love one another, and that's beautiful. We're not here to disparage that. We are here to encourage them to be honest. Live your truth. And if I'm wrong, I'm not even saying it. I'm saying people are saying it, and I'm merely reporting on it.
I personally suspect.
Oh, okay. Tim personally believes it. In any event, it is interesting that the lyrics you just read, that's the way God made me. He's different, feels like an outcast, and can't admit it, perhaps, though he's made peace with it.
He loves dick.
Whoa.
And it's okay. Well, people are saying. I just heard it, and I believe it, but I believe what people are saying, that Big and or Rich love dick, and it would be nice if it was each other's.
If they just... Fantastic. I got fixated for a brief moment. I forgot it was a metaphor and was picturing some sex-crazed 10-foot maniac. That's terrifying, Tim. If a 10-foot man wanted to have his way with you, by God, what would you do? You'd have no recourse whatsoever.
I'd run several steps away from him so that his ankles would snap as he attempted to run toward me.
Well, you're assuming that he's some sort of freak.
You can only be so tall. Your ankles will snap under your weight.
And that's why you're always going to be that height. Not me, Tim.
You're
I'm
not,
gonna
first of all,
stop
you're
growing.
not getting taller, A.
I am
and
getting taller.
B, Garrett, you have to understand. We've gone over this a number of times. Strength is related to cross-sectional area, whereas weight is related to volume. One is a square function, the other is a cube function.
What's your point?
Bigger you get, eventually, and it is under 10 feet tall, those ankles will snap.
Sure, I'm not shooting for 10 here. I'm just saying, whereas you have this defeatist attitude, and I don't think you've grown in years, I continue to work towards improving my height every day.
I will be honest, that is inspiring.
Thank you.
Track number 6, Holy Water.
Bit of a downer.
It is, yes. This is apparently written about both Big and Rich's sisters being domestic abuse victims. Is that what you got?
Yep, that's what I got. For the purposes of this song, I'm going to assume that these are fictitious these are fictitious characters. It's not specific to them, and I'm going to assume they just had a bad breakup. Maybe they caught their boyfriends cheating on them, because I'm going to make some jokes here, and it's not at their expense.
I like to think this is a sequel to the Sugar Ray song Every Morning, as that song has ruined any possible mention of halos for me forever.
Tim, let me just read a little line here. Somewhere there's a stolen halo, and I've written in my notes, Halo is forever ruined for me. Thank you, Sugar Ray. For anyone who's not keeping up or hasn't heard the Sugar Ray episode, first of all, how dare you? But second of all, you will learn in that episode what a halo truly is, and it will disgust you.
Episode 22, go back and listen.
Wow, how do you know that?
Encyclopedic knowledge, Garrett. I listen to every episode that we've done every 2 to 3 days. I mean, it's getting longer each week.
To what end?
I want to know you better.
Yikes. There's a lot of talk of praying here, Tim. There's some lines. I can only imagine what she's feeling when she's praying, kneeling at the edge of her bed. Now, I don't typically watch you say your prayers, and obviously, again, you insist on the pre-show prayer, so I know what that looks like. But when you personally are praying to your Lord and Savior, what does that look like?
For me personally,
Yes.
it's a one knee kind of thing.
One knee?
Yes.
Like you're the national anthem at a football game.
Yes.
Kaepernick that shit.
Yeah.
Have you always one-kneed it?
Yeah, I always take a knee.
Why?
Just seems respectful, but not too respectful.
You don't want to seem too respectful to God.
Well, I don't want him to get all full of himself.
You don't want him to get a big head or to think at any time that, listen, I would argue a God is only so strong as his fellowship. If the people in his clergy cease to believe in him, then does he exist?
No.
That's right.
To me, this sounded like it was written after watching Forrest Gump.
Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far, far away.
Yeah, right.
Tim, may I read some notes to you?
Sure.
Her prayers remind me of Forrest Gump.
And she takes me away, then take me farther, surround me now, and hold me like holy water.
That metaphor makes no sense to me.
That's what I was going to ask. Have you ever been held by water?
Of course I've been held by water.
Interesting.
I've never been held by holy water. I've never sat upon a blessed tub, if that's what you're asking.
It was not.
However, they could be saying, as you would hold holy water sacredly before you drank it.
Also doesn't do anything for me. I don't think you drink holy water.
No, not traditionally, but why else would you be holding it? You're just supposed to dip your tips in it.
That can't be right.
The tips of your fingers, Tim.
Still.
Not all of your tips.
Well, no, of course not. Don't be gross.
You're being gross.
Track number 7, Saved, featuring Gretchen Wilson.
I told the devil where to go.
Are Cowboys a violent group, Tim?
Frequently, but not exclusively.
He opens the song singing, "There was a time I tried to kill a man just for looking at me wrong."
I think it's an attempt at the sort of Johnny Cash, the I shot a man in Reno kind of trope.
It's not really a trope, it's just theft. Or at the very least, the laziest human being in music. This whole song is about how one day, big and or rich, or both, decided to tell the devil where to stick it. They're giving up their harsh living ways and dedicating themselves back to Jesus.
Yes.
They sing, "Last night I told the devil where to go. You know heaven's got my soul. Ain't gonna listen to his lies no more." Tim, as a cowboy, are you at constant battle with the devil?
No, I am wary of the devil.
I don't have any specific examples where I have rejected Satan because I'm not sure I've recognized him. He seems to appear in your life a lot. You tell me how, you've thwarted Satan again almost weekly.
Well, right, I tell the devil where to go sometimes.
Sure.
Because, Garrett,
Great.
heaven has my soul.
Okay, you realize you're reading lines now, right? You know that.
It's what I feel.
My point being, what does the devil look like?
I don't really know. They certainly seem to believe in a literal devil.
That's what I always assumed you meant.
No, not me, Garrett. No. Mine is my inner demons.
Oh.
My urges, if you will. But Big and Rich, they seem to believe in a literal pitchfork and hooves
sure,
and
but
tail.
You also have a deep belief in Christ, which means that you believe in his, his fraction? What is it?
Well, no, you're thinking of the Antichrist. That's a completely different thing.
What do you mean it's a different thing?
The Antichrist is not the devil, Garrett.
They're not one and the same. It was the son of the devil, right?
Yeah.
I did it all for you, Damien. Sorry.
It's a good movie.
This song is utter trash. It does sound a lot like Kenny Wayne Shepherd's Blue on Black. You familiar with this song?
Nope.
Blue on black, tears on a river, don't mean much, something blah blah.
I'll take your word for it. We'll listen to both afterward.
We shouldn't listen to either. The quality of these songs should be relegated to a macaroni grill waiting room, period. Played at low volume in a loud room. Track number 8, Real World. This, to me, is nothing more than an Avril Lavigne song.
Okay, I'll buy
Let's see. Here's some lyrics. There's a girl on Channel 13. I know she's gonna fall in love with me, and I'm gonna win the lottery tomorrow. Or the next day, I drive a Mercedes-Benz. I've got a whole buttload of friends. I'm gonna be on CMT someday. These
You're
are grown
right.
men.
Well, the part that I had was, I throw Benjis out the window all day just to see how far they fly. Bye-bye. He immediately goes back to mom and dad still pay the rent. So this is like a Rivers Cuomo, where he's including rap tropes into his whiny emo nonsense.
We're getting confused because it sounds first like a very wealthy and successful man. Then it also sounds like somebody who might live at home, doesn't have a real job when he sings. But in my real life, things don't always turn out so good. And in my real world, I'm a little messed up and broke. I think this is a guy who sits around at his parents' house in the basement. Let's not be cliched. Upstairs in his childhood bedroom, just huffing paint. huffing paint, sniffing glue, and having these wild hallucinations of his Mercedes and all his friends and how he's going to be on CMT someday. But in reality, he's just foaming at the mouth in a room with wallpaper of baseball
Cowboys.
bats.
Cowboys, Gary.
Nope, no, Tim. Baseball bats and basketballs.
That seems right. And it actually goes a long way to explaining the weird second part of this song.
It turns into some sort of Dr. Dog, modest mouse, bellowing nightmare.
Yeehaw! I'm a rock star, I'm a cowboy, everybody loves this song. But then it gets real weird.
I love this part, Tim.
Yeah, did you write down all the lyrics for this?
Not all. I wrote down a single line. I got a spaceship fully equipped because I'm a cowboy Stevie Wonder. Yeah. I want that on my tombstone.
Done. I will make sure that happens because I will almost certainly outlive you by 20 to 30 years. You are
false.
Much older than me. But the
Are you
rest
familiar
of it...
with the term a dead man trigger?
Oh, God. What have you done?
Just a little insurance policy. Keep
God
going.
Damn it. The rest of it is just as weird. Green grass and a rubber Russian bimbo. No one's got a name for the brain in a scarecrow. Happy dancing feet down the street on the corner. Some say he's silly, some say that he's a loner. And it kind of goes on like that until he just starts shouting Prozac over and over again.
That does happen.
Then it turns back into country with the grab your partner, smack her on the butt, and spin her around. And then snorting into the microphone all happens.
That all does happen while a banjo goes absolutely bananas.
Yeah, and a good banjo, genuinely. The last half of this song seems to be a collaboration between Beck and Captain Beefheart.
Yes, it's the most enjoyable part of the whole album.
Yeah.
This is where things start to get really odd. Track number 9, Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. Once again, Big and Rich walk into a room and immediately attempt to establish that they have more money than you, and they're kind of a big deal. Well, I walk into the room passing out $100 bills, and it kills and it thrills like the horns on my Silverado grill. Could you believe it took 9 tracks, Tim? 9 tracks to get to some light product placement. That's how you do it classy.
Yeah, I mean, there was admittedly Mercedes-Benz, but no one's buying a Mercedes-Benz after listening to this. You also miss the da-dum-da-da-dum-da-da-dum-da-dum.
I think it's Rawhide.
So they probably owe someone money.
He does seem to confirm a classic implication you and I have pointed out on previous albums, specifically Florida Georgia Line. In this scenario, we're talking about a gentleman and a young lady alone in a truck in the middle of nowhere. He sings, "I'm a thoroughbred," that's what she said, in the back of my truck bed, as I was getting buzzed on suds out on some backcountry road. So he's taking her on a backcountry road. He is getting drunk. They're in the back of the pickup truck. And I assume, as a thoroughbred, we are referencing intercourse.
Oh, yeah. No
now,
doubt
here's
about
where
it.
things get disturbing. We were flying high, fine as wine, having ourselves a big and rich time. So that means one of two things, Tim. Is a big and rich time that scenario? Is Big and Rich also there in the truck bed with... He does say that's what she said. We have confirmed a woman is with these two gentlemen.
The Big and Rich time seems like you're going out with either Big or Rich. They drive you to this backcountry road. Mm-hmm. They stop, and all of a sudden Rich gets in the car, or Big, whichever one's not currently in the car. Yeah, so you're on your date. You stop at like a stop sign out in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden you hear the back door open, and another dude gets in, and the driver of the car does not seem surprised by this at all. And Jesus Christ, it's terrifying. That, Garrett, is a Big and Rich time.
That's so much worse than I thought.
It always is.
I have to scratch out all these questions. One World Gear, a t-shirt company, they began to offer a series of products on cafepress.com featuring t-shirts with the slogan, "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy." But instead of the word cowboy, they replaced it with the name of any one of 177 different nationalities. So save a horse, ride an American, save a horse, ride a Canadian, save a horse, ride an Argentinian, save a horse, ride a Dutchman. The important part is that also was save a horse, ride a Taiwanese.
Which is funny, right?
Right. Sounds wrong, doesn't it?
Yes.
Taiwanese sounds insulting, but it isn't apparently. Anyway, they found it racially discriminatory, despite being one of 177 other countries that also had the exact same expression. Insulting to Taiwan was bandied about by the Taiwanese and Hong Kong media.
There's people wearing t-shirts encouraging women to have sex with them. Why are they upset about this?
I'm not really sure. I don't personally know a Taiwanese. That is apparently how you say that. A Taiwanese. He's a Taiwanese. That can't be right. He's Taiwanese. Taiwanese people, write in.
He does imply that he has a cowboy reputation.
Yes, and that she can make an assessment of his cowboy reputation.
Yeah, and I don't think that's how that works. This is part of what leads me to believe that they're not real cowboys. Your cowboy reputation is established by the cowboy community. It is your standing in that community. Who gives a shit what she thinks?
The song says, by her evaluation of my cowboy reputation had me begging for salvation all night long. What do you call a cowboy woman?
Women are not allowed
cowboy.
in the club.
Whoa, okay, hold on. First time you've admitted it's a club, not a real thing.
No, it is a real thing. Clubs are real. It's
Women
a club.
can't be cowboys, Tim?
No, they're cowgirls, they're cow women, even cow ladies, but they're not cowboys.
Okay, well, you made several statements to me about the sexiness of cowboys, which I'm not going to repeat here, but all that while, I thought that encompassed all genders.
The other thing about this song, Garrett, is he's very insistent at the end, and we made love. Clearly he's talking about this woman, but he might be talking about both. Big, stop that truck on a backcountry road and Rich got in the back seat. It's unclear.
Well, he made it clear. He made it super clear to everyone. Because you and I thought it was a classic implication, and now this is what I would like to call a celebrity implication, because no normal human being would ever attempt to pull this off, but a celebrity who then the other celebrity gets in the car and he says, you're about to have a big and rich time. Okay, that's probably not so bad. It's bad. It's in the bed of that truck, and it's roasting like a pig.
Jesus Christ.
God, I don't ever want to have a big and or rich time.
We should move on.
Track number 10, Drinking 'Bout You.
Sitting here drinking about you.
Tim, let's address something right up top. Is this some sort of Bing Crosby, Frank Sinatra tribute to the song Makin' Whoopee? What is this?
It's bad.
It also reminded me of, and I'm not entirely sure why, Baby, it's cold outside. Like, it's just got this weird goulet.
I mean,
'Cause I ain't
think
going nowhere if I can't be somewhere with you. These are real lyrics in this. The whole song is about a guy who is upset about his gal, maybe. Point is, he's drinking. We get a completely out of place guitar solo in the middle for no apparent reason.
the song is out of place within itself, if that makes sense.
Track number 11, Love Train. Background vocals, Mr. John Nicholson.
Whole color things never made sense to me.
John Nicholson is one of the music mafia guys, right?
Yes. People should know by now, if you have a song called Love Train, you needn't make a chorus of other people serve as that train whistle and all together go, woo woo, because that immediately means your song sucks.
It does seem pretty woke.
Oh, well, Tim, I don't know if you've heard, and I am saying this, Big and Rich are not racist.
They are tolerant. They love everyone.
You know what they're intolerant of? One thing and one thing only.
Democrats.
Swears.
Oh.
Nope. Well, swears. They don't swear. Go ahead and read the line.
Who gives a hoot? Is that the one you're referring to?
Well, the whole thing. The whole color thing's never made sense to me. Who gives a hoot if you're red, yellow, purple, or pink? I like that they chose colors that people aren't.
Do you remember, was it Gwen Stefani that brought up green people and we learned that that was either Iranians or Norwegians?
Yes, that was a very odd code for bigots. In this case, I think that he just didn't want to offend, or they, sorry. To my mind, it's almost a singular person called Big and Rich, who is able to throw his voice like a clever ventriloquist.
Yes. Dude, I do not care about this song.
It's ridiculous. So let's forget about the hatin' and the way the Bulls are playing without Jordan on the team. This, I think, is the worst known attempt in the new millennium to reach out to Black America by a white artist.
Well, it's amazing because Jordan quit playing, I think, a year before this, but he quit playing for the Bulls a full 6 years before this.
Ugh, was he on the Wizards?
Yes.
Goddamn Wizards.
Whenever
that Jordan's nobody's Jordan.
A huge mistake.
Track number 12, Deadwood Mountain.
Been a rambler all my life.
They fit in every single country trope that they could possibly think of. There's gamblers, there's ramblers, there's six-shooters, there's Wild Bill, there's Deadwood, Calamity Jane, who I had to look up, there's ghost towns, there's gold mines. And I will tell you, I had to look up Calamity Jane because I was worried that might be on the test at some point.
Is there a written test?
Oh yeah, Garrett, there are many written tests.
For some reason, I thought this was entirely a skills competition.
Oh, sure, there's a practical. No one's saying there's not a practical, but you have to
practical.
You have to have book knowledge, and you have to be able to live the life.
Yeah, not only do you have to have the knowledge, you have to be able to apply it. I see. Tim, I love learning about Cowboy Academy. It is terrifying at times, and I still worry that you're being swindled, but I'm not going to tell you to stop yet. Now, Deadwood Mountain, for me, Tim, brought up a cowboy question that I hope you can answer. Are cowboy funerals different?
Oh, God, yes, Garrett. Have you ever been to a military funeral?
Yes.
Have you ever been to a Viking funeral?
No, but I have read about them.
Okay. It's as different from a funeral as either of those. From the funeral that you're imagining for yourself. Well, maybe not for you, but for like a normal individual.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Yes, it's as different as
Can
that.
you
There are
be specific?
six-shooter. I can't go into the specific rituals, obviously. I will say there are six-shooters. There's country music playing, of course. There's a campfire. There's a rattling of the spurs.
Okay. Is there any truth to the rumor that a cowboy must be buried 8 feet deep rather than 6 feet deep because they will not rest in peace lest you give them 2 extra feet?
Yes.
That's true. Now, will they become zombies at 6 feet?
No. I suspect that it is just a tradition that was born out of the ideas of earlier peoples that don't have the scientific knowledge of today, where we know today 6 feet is deep enough, but we want to honor our forefathers.
And why do you think it is in general that we as a society bury our dead? Seems dumb, right?
It does, yeah. What are you suggesting? Shot into the sun?
We could do that. Corpse rocket every, 6 months?
Corpse rocket is awesome.
Well, I don't know if it's awesome, Tim. It's it's a solution.
Garrett,
what?
As of this day, I swear to you, I will ensure that your corpse ends up in space somewhere. I can't guarantee I'll hit the sun. I am not great with physics, but I will ensure that it ends up in space. I can guarantee that.
You can get me on the rocket. You can't say where the rocket's going.
Yes.
Aside from space, hopefully.
Yeah, it's not going to be on this planet anymore, no.
That's good. I will already be deceased, I assume.
Oh, sure. Yeah, this is your corpse.
See, again, though, it is hard to imagine a world in which I have died before you.
I disagree.
In this song, they say, put me 8 feet down when you bury me and cover me a little extra deep because that's the only way I'm going to rest in peace. So they got that part right, Tim. Again, we have to ask, are they cowboys?
Maybe they paid a cowboy. You like to think that it's an order of honor, but I'm sure there are cowboys that can be bought. Hell, I just told you a couple of the little cowboy facts here.
Oh, sure. I could piece together a cowboy resume with what you've told me alone and easily pose as a cowboy.
No, okay, you better not, Garrett. I will alert the other cowboys. Well,
what are they going to do about it?
Oh, they'll gun you down.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not worried about them. Come at me, nerds.
Fair enough. Musically, this is filled with big guitar solos. And again,
crazy big, right?
Yeah, this was the one that really hit me. Like, this is 80s hair metal.
Absolutely. I loved it. The rest of it's utter horse shit, though. It's all about this guy having a special cowboy funeral, which aside from burying him a couple feet deeper, I wonder if it comes from cowboys do everything normal folk do plus 50%. Obviously, they were much shorter then.
Well, that would be 33%, but I think you mean cowboys do everything that normal people do, only 2 feet deeper.
I said they were much shorter than 50, not 33%. They were 4 feet tall then. Everybody knows cowboys were no more than 4 feet tall.
Well, then that would be 100%.
No. Oh, I see. I see what you mean. Never mind. Obviously. Sorry.
I would like you to admit here that you're bad at fractions. Can we do that?
Sure. Absolutely. I'm not coming out of this winning. Track number 13, Live This Life, featuring Martina McBride.
God, they love Jesus, Garrett.
They love Jesus so fucking bad.
He meets Jesus and is inspired, is the core of this song.
Or he meets a crazy person, street performer, or gypsy.
He says, met a man on the street last night. He said his name was Jesus. Thought he was crazy till I watched him heal a blind man. Now I can see. So, to be clear, that was not Jesus.
Might have been Jesus.
Nah, I wasn't. That's not how Jesus does it. Garrett, I don't know if you've listened to the Republican platform recently.
I've not, no.
Well, Jesus helps those that help themselves. So if somebody's going out there...
No, it doesn't say that, does it?
The Republican platform?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jesus helps those that help themselves.
Yeah.
So Jesus doesn't help those that don't help themselves?
Yeah, so if you're, say, a banker,
right?
If you're able to get a little extra on the side, pray about it a little, Jesus is going to help make that happen. He's going to honor your ambition.
Because you're a go-getter.
Right, but if you're a poor homeless man, you're not doing shit. You're just fucking sitting around on the street. Jesus isn't going to help you out. That is not the Jesus of 2019. This wasn't Jesus. They found a crazy homeless person. They elevated him to the status of our Lord and Savior. So this might be a song about the ridiculous gullibility of these two idiots.
I think they're grifters. I think one guy was posing as a blind man, like they'd never met, then the other one comes along, heals him magically. It doesn't... Of the things to fake, Tim, blind is among the easiest.
Absolutely.
It's no deaf. That's tricky. With the deaf, you gotta remember. Never answer.
Well, no, the real problem is whenever somebody makes a loud noise and it surprises you.
Yeah, that is the worst. Or when you sneeze.
Oh, when somebody
I can
else
impersonate a deaf person. I cannot impersonate a deaf person sneezing.
I've never seen a deaf person sneeze. I'd like to see that. I'm going to deafen you and then
oh my God, just Google it, you weirdo. Don't ever deafen me for any reason. The tone of the song, I kind of was just waiting for a never made it as a wise man.
Yeah, I kind of thought so. You got the I live this life until this life won't let me live here anymore. Then I will walk, yes, I will walk with patience through that open door. I walk a lonely road, the only one that I have ever known. It kind of sounds like the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
It's funny you say that, Tim, because I wrote down the following line. I live this life until this life won't let me live here anymore. Then I wrote down the following line. I walk a lonely road, the only one I have ever known. You know what's interesting about those two lines, Tim, aside from the fact that you also apparently wrote down exactly those two lines, which is statistically almost impossible?
Well, with the number of times we've written down the same thing this episode, it is absolutely impossible. I accuse you, sir, of cheating.
I certainly didn't cheat because I can tell you confidently that those two sentences, Tim, while not having the same number of characters, do in fact have the exact same number of syllables.
Of course they do, Garrett. It's the same song.
They are the exact same song.
After he met these grifters, he meets a girl in a wheelchair and then a kid about to kill himself, and he does nothing to help either one of these people.
It's fascinating.
Met a girl in a chair with wheels. Everyone was so afraid to even look down on her, and she just spread her little wings and flew away.
Yeah, I do not know what that means.
No.
And I want to ask you, Tim, I've had a real mixed bag when it comes to my interactions with wheelchair-bound people. I have been accused of being too polite and not polite enough. And I don't know what to do, and all I want to do is help.
Garrett, treat them like people. That's what you do.
I do, but they yell at me.
No, that's because you're not doing it right. You're giving away that you notice that they're in a wheelchair. You have to pretend that you can't tell.
I always compliment the wheelchair.
No. That's what they want to be treated like normal people.
Mm-hmm.
For example, they would appreciate it if you will mention to them, like bring up walking upstairs and ask, for example, how much do you enjoy walking upstairs? Do you ever incorporate stairs into your workout? They want to be treated like everyone else, and that's how I talk to other people.
Wow, they must find that incredibly condescending.
No, they like it.
I don't doubt it.
Because I'm not condescending to them. I'm treating them as if they were normal.
Okay, and I too treat them as if they are normal. When I see somebody in a wheelchair, I give them double guns and I go, nice wheels. How many people who are walking around do you give the double guns to and say nice wheels? None. But do you know how many people I do on a scooter? All.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Nice wheels.
Yes.
So in theory, Tim, I am treating both the able-bodied, that's not right. What do you call them? Legs. People with legs that move under their own volition. Those people, boy, that seems more harsh, and all I'm trying to do is be progressive. Leans, I'm sorry.
The legged. We'll say that. How about that?
The legged. Thank you, Tim. The legged on a scooter, I say, hey, double guns, nice wheels. The non-legged, no, they have legs, Tim. The
ill-legged.
ill-legged, thank you, ill-legged, illegals.
Jesus. What's you guys' podcast about? We mostly just make fun of the illegals.
Seated scooter, double guns, nice wheels. Everybody's the same. On to the next example. He's going around basically convincing children to kill themselves.
Met a kid on a bridge last night, contemplating freedom. Met a kid on a bridge last night, and he said, I'm tired of this maddening life, and I'm ready to go meet Jesus. And I said, he's a friend of mine. Met him just last night, and it's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Freedom. Death
Yes.
is freedom. A homeless man I met last night who may or may not have been trying to pull a long con. Was that Jesus encouraging people to kill themselves as well?
No, absolutely not. First,
He's reassured by the existence of
Yes,
Jesus.
yes.
So
So-
go ahead and kill yourself, young man. Boy, he didn't read to the end of his Bible.
contemplating freedom is a weird way to describe suicide if you are not currently pro-suicide.
It's a very intimate expression for a very tragic act.
Yes. And this kid is saying, I'm ready to go meet Jesus. It's not good to reassure somebody, oh, hey, Jesus is real. I met him last night. It's okay. You can jump. You'll meet Jesus and you'll be fine.
If at any point life gets difficult or you feel like giving up, go right ahead. Jesus is real and he is waiting to welcome you into the kingdom of heaven. You know, I could see how this whole religion thing appeals to you. That's incredibly reassuring.
Right, but not if you're trying to not actively die. What I like to think, there was somebody pulling a long con, as you said, somebody was pretending to be blind, and somebody was, pretending to heal him, to claim they were
To what
Jesus,
end?
to eventually grift money out of this guy. The next night, this fake Jesus is walking down a bridge. And he sees a kid about to kill himself, and he, being a normal person, rushes across the street. He's running to save him. And just before he can get there, he sees this asshole walk up and say, hey man, I met Jesus last night. You can go ahead and jump. You will be fine. And so he watches this man who he tricked. He watches him talk this kid into going through with it.
For what will eventually turn out to be a total of $611 and a 3-year jail sentence, he got a kid to kill himself by the transitive property of a Jesus con.
That's right.
I have no more respect for these songs than I did at the start. More importantly, Tim, how'd this thing do?
This was certified triple platinum, Garrett. It made it to number 6 on the Billboard 200. The song Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy sold over 1 million copies.
I want to get 1 million podcast downloads because I want to get 3 million. Because these guys sold. We're giving our podcast away and we haven't had 3 million downloads.
Yeah, you
listeners,
fucking assholes won't take it.
Not them.
No.
They took it.
Yeah, that's fair.
What did people think of it?
Well, we have a review from Mr. Robert Christgau, if you'd like to play the Robert Christgau game.
Robert Christgau is a longtime music critic and crazy person. His reviews make utterly no sense whatsoever, and then he assigns a grade that has nothing to do with that review. Tim reads the review, and then I attempt to guess what Robert Christgau gave the album. Tim, are you ready to play the Robert Christgau game?
Garrett, the review says, more funny than smart, meaning too cornball to truly kick Montgomery Gentry's ass. And then he recommends Rolling, The Ballad of Big and Rich, and Kick My Ass. Garrett, what did Robert Christgau give this album?
We'll say he gave this 1.5 stars.
He gave this a 3-star honorable mention.
All right, Tim, that's what the man himself had to say about it, but what about the average man? What did Amazon have to say about this album?
Well, Amazon has 274 reviews for this, 4.5 out of 5 stars, 79% 5 stars, 7% 1 star. So the first review is by AMW697. This was the last album my husband bought, and his favorite song was Live This Life. He sang to the album every morning, and so this album has a great memory for me and our sons, as he was murdered soon after. Love Big and Rich and love this album. 5 out of 5 stars.
Oh my God.
Now, Garrett, we should acknowledge the possibility that man was murdered for incessantly singing Big and Rich. That's possible.
We don't know what his work-life situation was. He could have had coworkers that asked him to stop, begged him to stop, got him headphones so he wouldn't play it on his Bose desktop stereo, didn't listen.
It's suspicious at best. But it's also notable because that review is a better country song than anything on this album.
Agreed. Good review. What else you got?
Last one here is by RTO from 2004 as well. It's called Not a Country Fan. This is the Sgt. Pepper's of country. Remember the different songs on the Sgt. Pepper album? Some loud, some soft, some thoughtful, and every song was excellent. This is the groundbreaking CD of country. I loaned all my friends, many of whom aren't country fans, and they loved it. Buy it, you won't be sorry. 5 out of 5 stars.
Part of that review is not inaccurate. Some of it's quiet, some of it's loud. Good review, Tim. All right, who is this for?
I don't know. It's so terrible and embarrassing, but it seems
I say children, young children.
That makes sense.
It's not the uber religious. It is people who are very active in their church and in youth group, but they're not crazy. Tim, final thoughts. Anything else you want to say about this pile of shit?
I mean, it seems like a novelty act. I could see this being like the jokey side project for somebody, but it's their main musical output.
Yeah, nobody's buying their solo and side projects. It never got better than this.
Well, I mean, I'm sure the music's better. It can't be worse.
It could be worse. You know Cowboy Troy's going to be back, and I demand at some point we do a full Cowboy Troy album.
I mean, I'm in for that, but I'm also in for that Vanilla Ice Cowboy Troy Violent J collaboration.
I think that's called a supergroup.
It's not.
So that makes me have to ask the question, Tim, now that we've been through it, do you hate it?
Yes, absolutely.
That does not come as a huge surprise.
Did I hate the music, Garrett?
Mm-hmm.
Also, yes. Also, yes.
Oh, all right.
Did I hate the experience of listening to this album?
I would never have asked that, but okay.
Also, kind of, yes. I mean, I kind of loved it at points, but for the most part,
times.
Yes, I did not care for this week. What about you? Did you hate this?
Yes. Yes, I did. I hate to be so cliched. It is the name of the show, and we do try to find things we suspect will be terrible. Although sometimes, like in a Shaggy sort of way, you end up sort of liking it.
Nope.
You hate it, I hate it. If you find yourself having a big and rich time, do whatever you have to make it end as fast as possible. This is the part of the show where I ask, plead, beg, and thank you for writing reviews, subscribing, telling your friends, telling your friends' friends, telling your friends' dogs' friends. And that's how we grow the show. We don't ask you for money. Rate, review, subscribe. It really helps the show, ideally on iTunes, but anywhere you listen to it. And if you didn't know, you can go to hatepod.com and you can get every episode we've ever done in any format you could humanly want, save for maybe a Zune. You can also reach out to us by clicking on Contact Us in the upper left-hand corner. It asks for your email. That's just so we can reply. That's all we're doing with it. If you don't want to go that route, you can just email us directly at hatepodmail@gmail.com and we will reply. You can hit us up on facebook.com/hatepod. You can also go to Instagram @hatepod, or you can hit up Twitter @albumhatepod. We're also on YouTube. They're just exactly what you just listened to, but on YouTube. You could also just go to hatepod.com and stream it directly from the website. I think it does that as well. Also, thank you for the emails. Keep them coming. They're hilarious. Mailbag episode number 2 coming pretty soon, I feel. For Why I Hate This Album, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey.
I have been the other, Tim Richardson.
Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.